Hey everybody, welcome back to Conscientious Omnivore. My name is Pal. A little bit sick today, not feeling too good. I got a sore throat and a little bit stuffy, so sorry for the voice. But anyway, I wanted to share with you guys a very quick and easy lasagna recipe. A while back I did kind of a whole food plant-based lasagna recipe, which I think is still really good, and I would definitely recommend checking that out if you haven't seen it. But this one is just like crazy easy, super fast, really quick to put together, and you know, it's a little less whole food, so you can fault me for that. But nonetheless, really good, especially good comfort food when I don't really have too much interest in spending a lot of time putting together something really fancy. So anyway, what we've got here is we got some spinach infused lasagna sheets. Got two little bricks of tofu. One of them is smoked, the other one is just plain. So you guys can see the size of that. It's about, what is that, 200 something? Oh, it's less than 200 grams, 160 grams. This one's 180. So I usually use two of these. And I've got a little package of buckwheat. This is hajdina in Hungarian. And we're gonna boil this up real quick. It just takes a few minutes. By the time everything else is prepped, this will be all cooked up. I've got one block of vegan cheese here. Just use whatever, you know, flavor or type you like. And then I've got a homemade jar of, I guess like you would call it salsa, or I don't know, whatever, ratatouille, depending on whatever. In Hungarian, this is lecho. It's basically tomatoes, peppers, and onions, all cooked up. This actually came from our own garden, so another reason to you know, do your own canning and your own growing. It's really great for meal prep like this. So first steps first, I'm gonna set the oven to get preheated. I'm gonna do 200 Celsius, which is just under 400 Fahrenheit. I think it's like 390 something. So anyway, get that going, and I'm gonna dump this in a little you know, a little pot with some water and just a little bit of salt. And this should be pretty much boiled up by the time everything else is prepped. So let's get that going, and I'll show you guys the next steps. So I've got the buckwheat going. I put pretty much just eyeballed, double the water, put a little bit of salt in there. Got the tofu and the cheese out. We're gonna use the largest hole on the grater here, and I'm just gonna grate all of it down onto a plate. It doesn't really matter if they get mixed up. I often just kind of throw everything together anyway. So let's get those grated up, and then I'll show you the next steps. So that took about 5 minutes to open the packages and grate them. The buckwheat is already boiling, excuse me, and almost ready to go. So give it another couple minutes just for it to finish cooking, and then we're going to start assembling everything together. So there we have it. Everything's kind of split up in there and mixed as much as I care to. I kind of wish I had a little bit more toppings, because some of the little edges of the lasagna sheets are sticking out. That's not good. If you leave them kind of too exposed, they could just get dried out in the oven. I sometimes have experimented with putting a baking sheet over this. I don't know if I'm going to do that now, but that can sometimes help retain moisture a little bit as well. But I think usually just adding more toppings is kind of the way to go. But anyway, I think that's good for now. We're gonna throw it in the oven. It's preheated already, and I'll show it to you guys in another, I don't know, I'm gonna check on it in maybe 25 minutes or so, roughly, and then we'll see what it looks like. So I checked it after 25 minutes or so, and it still wasn't ready, so I put it in for another 10 minutes. So in total, 35 minutes. My test for the lasagna is just a fork. If it goes in smoothly through the lasagna sheets, it's done. I mean, everything else is already cooked, so it's not a big deal to eat it as it is. It's just the sheets that need to get cooked. So I'm gonna let this sit for just a couple minutes to cool off a little bit, and then I'm gonna cut out a square and show you guys what it looks like. And voila, she is ready. So that is the lasagna, guys. It's super tasty. I've made this a couple of times in the past. when I just couldn't be bothered to, like I say, you know, prep a bunch of vegetables and what have you. The main advantage of this dish is really just the time it takes. I mean, the effort you put in here is probably like 15 minutes. Obviously, it takes a little bit longer to actually be ready to eat, but from start to finish, I'd say it's about an hour. And, you know, actually probably a little less than an hour. I mean, where I live, that's pretty darn good. If I order a pizza, I'm usually waiting at least an hour to get it. So, you know, I think it sure beats that. And for sure, it's probably healthier as well than just buying some store-bought kind of pre-frozen, you know, thing. So yeah, I think the buckwheat is a really good addition to it. That's sort of a recent kind of experiment gone right that I was actually quite happy about the way it came out. I've tried it with rice as well. That's okay too. I like the buckwheat because you can prepare it super quickly. I mean, it's just crazy fast. Basically, by the time the water's boiling, it's almost done. Maybe a little bit more, a couple minutes after, but very similar to couscous in that way that it just cooks super, super fast. I'm sure that would work well, or quinoa would work well as, you know, as another substitute. Gives it a little bit of extra texture in the absence of some of the other vegetables and things like that. So yeah, I think it's really good. Definitely would recommend it to anybody. Tofu is always a winner for me. I've been kind of mixing it with vegan cheese for a long time on pizzas as well too. Just grate it up or crumble it, and then use the vegan cheese more sparingly, almost more for flavor. I really like the kind of taste and texture of the tofu, especially the smoked one mixed in with the plain one. I think is really nice. So so yeah, that's pretty much it. You know, this will make a decent amount of food, I would say, for maybe like, if this is the only thing you're eating, if there's no like soup to start or something like that, I would still say, you know, 4 adults could probably be fed with this amount, no problem. And it's super quick, pretty cheap. Yeah, I think probably the most expensive thing in there is probably the vegan cheese, which is really optional. I mean, you could skip that as well. So yeah, that's it. Hope you guys liked it. If you did, please do give it a thumbs up, and see you in another video soon. Thank you for everybody's support, and yeah, thanks. Bye.